ask her the questions.
So Ben Joyce, when did you decide to start him for your start? I think at Tennessee, correct?
Yeah, about midnight last night. Put it in the locker room and then kind of put on reserve, wake up and have the same thoughts. I mean, there's really nothing to think about. It's just whether you want to go through with what we had planned on, what we talked about in the office. And I think the thing you come back to is he's earned it. He's certainly capable of it. I mean, he proved that against Auburn and in other situations. But, you know, we can talk about that topic for a long time, and I can answer any questions. But I think it's all summed up by the fact he's earned it. So we gave it to him, and we got better because he was able to get out there and pitch a little bit, really only for the second time because fair or unfair to him, the plan was to get him a bunch of repetitions, which means he's only out there for a limited amount of time. And to an extent, I feel it's worked, but now it's time to let him do his thing, and it was good he got some room to work with.
So do you think today was a one-off, or do you anticipate that being a continuous thing?
I think he's shown that he can throw long relief. He's also come in and got us out of a couple jams where we almost steered him away from those early on. So, he's a well-rounded pitcher there. And then we went to Pepperdine one year I was coaching, and we needed 5 different starters that particular year. And same thing, we played last year at Hoover, and we had to recycle a starter, if I'm not mistaken, where he had to throw twice in 1 week. And prefer not to do that to our guys, especially if you got other weapons. So, we got a game on Tuesday, but I want a timeout. I'll take advantage of this Sunday just like we told the guys to. So we'll get ready for Tuesday eventually, but not yet.
Was this kind of a way to get guys into different roles and just kind of see how they respond to coming out of the bullpen or starting?
Yeah, I mean, more, right or wrong, you stand here one day, you look smart. You stand here another day, you look stupid. They're freshmen, and they could have thrown this weekend, but I'd prefer to, not ask them to shoulder the load for every week of the season. Might be different if they had a different high school career, but all these kids are still going through, they're a part of what will be in history books for a long time of a lost spring or summer or however long that whole thing lasted. So. Even without that, just would like to manage the whole thing. So wherever we're at when we hand these guys the ball the last time this particular season, they're able to run through the finish line as opposed to stumble.
What did you learn from that starting rotation this weekend?
I thought Blade made progress once, you're in the dugout, you're so tense. You've seen the byproduct of that a few times. But after you look at it and you watch the videos, there's some progress that Blade made. So it was good to get him out there. I think because he's kind of been a blended guy for us, he can be trusted as a starter and reliever too, and now not have an excuse of, well, I didn't have enough reps of this or that. And then there's also some things we noticed he just flat out needs to get better at. So good, there's opportunities around the bend. And then same thing, I think Mr. Joyce, I don't want scouts to tweet out I'm, a punk or anything like that. I'm not telling them their job, but I think if you draft the guy, you might as well give him a chance to start. I think he's capable of doing that. We've only had him on the mound for a short amount of time, and I think he can go a long time for us. But also, if there's a crazy good hitter in the league, like 2 guys with the same last name, and we just need one out, he could be that guy to come as well. And then, Doe throws strikes, so you know what you're going to get out of him, and he's also thrown out of the bullpen for us. So maybe you check a box where everyone's at least done something one time, and we're trying to spread the jam on the bread as even as possible because we want to play for a little longer, and we want all these guys to feel good about where they're at.
You guys had some base running miscues again this weekend. What do you attribute that to, and how do you kind of clean that up?
Yeah, I think a couple the first night were, and you're never not going to have mistakes in a game, even if the Braves are playing, but in particular with young kids, it's not going to be mistake-free. So those mistakes you do make, you would prefer they're being aggressive. I mean, really, when we analyzed, in the outfield as a group, they showed up well, they competed well, we played well, we pitched well. Just when we were aggressive in the zone, they made us pay a few times. It's because they got good hitters. So you'd rather your mistakes be aggressive. And I think most of ours fall in the umbrella of guys just getting a little too aggressive. Now, the one we had today was maybe just a little too out of control or just a bad read. I don't know. I got the view where I'm right next to home plate, so I can see it clear as day. The guy also made a really good play on it. But, something we talk about in practice all the time. To be honest with you, at this point in the year, you're not going to redo your practice schedule and completely revamp something. It's time to just play. And more times than not, like we talked about the other night on maybe a bunt or something else, this time of year, guys are going to get a little too tense and maybe make a mistake. And we've all been to a little league park where parents love their kids, and it's a little league game, and everybody should be having fun and having a hot dog and a beer, but it's the most insane, intense environment ever, and possible fights break out and stuff like that. That sort of tension, in the air because playoff time's creeping up, or it's an SEC game, or we want to win a series or do this or that. That's what these kids, and I don't want to coach other teams, but just all these guys, that's what they need to be cautious of. And it'll pop up. Those are good feelings to have, but you got to keep them in check and then just play ball. So at this point in the year, the guys got to play ball, and we'll help them out a little bit, but we can't revamp anything.
Two more for Coach.
Where would you say this team is versus where you want them to be this late in the season?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the way the schedule fell. Again, this time of year, you got to go play whenever they say you go play, but it's kind of nice the way it worked out. Next weekend is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series for everybody in the league. We have the good fortune of being in a rhythm with that. And then I love the fact that, the book should be about done by Monday and Tuesday. Everybody's on a different final schedule. But having that behind us, having some grueling games that we've either won or lost, I would say I feel good about where we're supposed to be at this point in the year. We kind of know what guys can and can't do, and we've kind of spread out the repetitions a little bit. So, right now I feel bad we lost. Tomorrow I'll feel good about we get a day off and what's ahead of us, and then on Tuesday, depends on how the game goes.
Do you have any update on Jared Dickey? You saw him off crutches this week.
Yeah, so that was kind of the next step, is to move around on his own. He's been keeping his arm in shape. The next thing will just be to take some swings with that thing off. I think that could happen sometime next week. And then the next step would be, we talked about this with some of our pitchers, the next step after that would be some sort of live pitching, be able to see it from our guys before he sees it from other teams. So I think that was like 4 or 5 steps I rattled off. But we're kind of making that climb, which is good, because for a while there we were at a standstill.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.